South Korean President Moon Jae-in held a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, and that's where he said that South Korea was in this all-out war against this virus. And he has ordered all his ministers to be on a 24-hour emergency alert. He has ordered all his ministries and government officials to coordinate closely so that they can resolve all the issues that's coming out with this virus. And also he has said that he will be injecting about 30 trillion won into the economy. That's about 25 billion US dollars, mainly to help many of the small companies here and the economy too, because those that are being deeply affected by this virus. Now, he did also talk about how this has gone out of control, and it is a totally different situation with the church members of that Shincheonji being affected by it, because we know that among those 5,000 or so who have been infected with this disease, more than 60% of them are from those church members, and most of them are concentrated in this area of Daegu and this Gyeongsang, North Gyeongsang province. And so he has said that the main thing right now was for the South Korean government to focus on those two areas, and also the South Korean government has deployed its military personnel, and they're helping out disinfecting the buildings, the roads. Some of them have also been sent to the hospitals to try and fight this virus. And that's why he's talking about an all-out war here, which really is going on here in South Korea.
Yeah, and Yoon Suk, the South Korean government is, of course, under pressure to supply more masks as public anger just grows over the shortage. How does it intend to fulfill those needs?
Well, remember, he also did apologize to the public for this issue over this mask, because it really is so difficult to find masks here in South Korea. And so I'm here at a subway station outside one of the government retail stores that's selling the masks. And as you can see over here, these are all the people who are waiting here. And they only start selling it from this afternoon for only about 2 o'clock. And yet you have all these people waiting here, and they've been waiting here for hours. In fact, one of the first person right in front, I just spoke to this old lady, and she says she's been here since 7 o'clock this morning local time, and the store will only start selling them from 2 o'clock. Now, the people here, once they do get their turn to go and get the masks, they'll only be allowed to get only about 5 per person. And so it's not really that many. And right now, the South Korean government also has an issue, because there are many people who may in the front of this line getting those masks, and they may come back tomorrow and they'll get another 5 for their own. But there are people out here who's been standing here for hours, and yet they can't get the mask. And so they come back tomorrow. And if they're not here very early in the morning, they're standing way at the back and they won't get their turn. And in fact, I have a friend who's been standing in the lines for the last 2 weeks and have not been able to get them. Now, that is the scene here in Seoul, in the capital Seoul. And I hear it's much worse outside of South Korea. Now, right now, there are about 140 companies that produces the masks here in South Korea, and they're putting out about 10 million of them. There is a restriction on how much they can export, and that's only about 10%. And about 50% are being allocated to the retail stores like this one, the government retail stores. Right now, the South Korean government says they need to definitely increase this, and hopefully they will be able to have, allowed to allocate all the masks to the South Koreans who haven't been able to buy them in recent days.